that in a couple of minutes or hours, we'll be releasing some sets of amazing designers into the market. You guys have done well. I think for the last 3 months, this class has been going on, 2 or 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. And I really want to say congratulations and go out there, do your best, conquer the world, keep improving. If you can, create groups and motivate each other to do more. So without much ado, we're going to jump into today's lesson and run as fast as we can. So today there's no notes, so don't expect to get notes from me. I don't usually do slides when I teach. I just teach you from experience and teach you from what that has worked for me and some industry leaders. So today we're talking about design styles. We're talking about design process and design system. And we need to do this within 2 hours. So let's see how fast we can run. So first of all, in design styles, that's lesson number 1, design styles. We have what we call UI kits. Now, UI kit is a set of files that contain very important elements that you need or components that you need in your whole designs. Stuff like font, stuff like icons, stuff like documentation and all that, stuff like components. Okay, so UI kits make it very, very easy for you to do your design work, because there's a stage you reach in your design by the time you stop being a junior, or let me even say one of the difference between junior and senior is the speed at which you deliver products. And one of the very ways to deliver products at the speed of light is by exploring UI kits. Now, for a senior designer, once you get your idea, wireframe and everything right, there's really no point. I can't remember the last time I did the design from scratch. What do I mean for scratch? Having to design everything, including the buttons, including the color, including the everything from scratch. It's a total waste of time. That is where UI kits come in. So as long as I have what I want to build, I've done my wireframe, I have the layout and everything is correct. What I need next is just my heart getting more copy. What I do, and what almost every designer I know do, is we get what we call UI kits, use those components, tweak it to suit the particular project we are working on, and then use it on our project. And it saves time like mad. Saves you time, saves you money, and a whole lot. But the disadvantage of it is it can make you a lazy designer if you're not careful. It can kill your creativity if you're not careful. What do I mean? Because most persons, you might go to a UI kit and you see instead of you to use your own initiative to define your own system and build your own color and typeface and all that, you might use UI kits to just, let me just copy this in and slap it here and I'm good to go. At the end of the day, you end up hurting your design and your creativity, because all those things are already there for you. So that's the disadvantage. But as a beginner, I will advise you continue with what you're doing. Start designing your stuff from scratch. Then by the time you begin to get more responsibility to do more, you begin to design with UI kits. So I'm going to show you how to get UI kits. Let me share my screen. One of the simplest way, like I said, UI kits are made up of components and files that you need in your design process. Okay, it's not just it's not just mock-up screens and all that. Okay, the components, your files, your icons and all that make up the UI kit. So what you do is the way UI kit is being used, you get the UI kits and then you take what you need to build your design. For instance, now how do you get that UI kit? One of the easiest ways is via Figma community. So you come to Figma community and then you search for, let's say, let's just search for UI kits. Something as simple as that. Awesome. So you have a lot of UI kits. Now, what you do is you pick the one that suits what you want, and then you tweak it to your own design. Okay. So this is for crypto, fitness app, and what have you. There's one that is my favorite. Brainstorm UI kits. Let me show you how it looks like. Awesome. So this is Brainstorm UI kit. Duplicate the file so it come to your own design board. So now this is a typical example of how UI kit is. It has your grid, so you don't have to stress yourself on what grid should I use for each device. It has all the grid sizes for all the devices. It has color codes already. It has typography spelled out for you already. It has your icons, other assets like avatar placeholders, images, even border radius, dividers, shadows, buttons, forms, everything you need here, input fields and all that. It has already been provided for you. Charts. So you see why I said it makes your work easy. So for a beginner designer, you have to design this thing from scratch, or forms from scratch, all these things from scratch. But someone like me who don't tend to design this from scratch, just come here, pick this, and then change the color to what you want it to be and all that. Let's say I want to do a card, a chart, any of this I want. I just come here, pick it up, and I'm good to go. I just adjust it, remove the you can duplicate and then detach instance and adjust to suit what you want to do. You get, and you're good to go. Cards, different style of cards. This is for e-commerce and all that. You see, they've already sort all these things out for you. Any kind of card you're looking for is already here. Text components, navigation. These are your tabs, header, navbar, and all that. Anything you're looking for, they even did some screens for you to show you an example of how it looks. So this is what a UI kit is. Once you have your project in mind, like I said earlier, you already have everything set up. What you just need is your hi-fi. Rather than designing all these things from scratch, you can just come here and then pick what you want and do your design. Simple as that. So that's what UI kit is. Now, the second one, please, do you have any question on UI kit before I move? Any question before I move to the second one? All right. Now, the next one is inspiration. As a designer, I know one of the difficult things you will face is getting inspiration in design. You have your idea, you have what you want to do, but you don't know how to place the layout. You don't even know where to start from. I'll teach you guys. I'll just show you guys in the next 5 minutes on how to get design inspiration. Now, there are websites that have made it very easy for you. I will show you some of those websites where I use and people I know use as well. And then Figma community is also another very important place to get design inspiration. Once you go there and you type what you want, you bring out everything that you will need. Okay, if it's not there, there are other sites that I use. Now, some sites to get design inspiration from. There's behance.net, just like you know. Let me enlarge this. There's behance.net. There is dribble.com. Maybe I should open the files so you guys will see yourself. There's behance.net. This is Dribble. Dribble has a catalog of designs. So you just go there and you search for what you want. You could sign in if you want to sign in. Sign in and then come to the search bar. Let's say I want to search for cryptocurrency website. If you bring out every design that has been uploaded on this Dribble with the caption of cryptocurrency, all of it. My network. Let me open other sites. So everything that has to do with cryptocurrency will be brought out. Everything. So it gives you inspiration of what you want. If you type NFT, you will see the one for NFT as well. So what you have to do now is click on any one and then save the image, whatever you want to do with it. So my network is bad. So you just click on it, it comes up. Then you can right click and save the image. Take it to your folder and it gives you an idea of what you want to build. Now, mind you, these are for inspiration, not for you to go and copy and present to your client. They will catch you. Okay, so if you don't have an idea of what you want to do, Dribble is the best place to get inspiration from. Behance is also another place to get inspiration from for your designs. There's Lapa Ninja. Lapa Ninja is a good place also to get design inspiration from. There's Mobin. Mobin even gives you the ability to search. Now, these are different apps, inspiration on what you were looking for. You can even search by the app itself or search by screen. You can search by iOS or by Android. So the thing about Mobin is purely for mobile application. So either iOS or Android. Okay. And then we have Page Flow. We have Godly Websites. We have SAS landing pages. I will send all of this to the group. So when you come here, save the images and use it as your inspiration for your design. Like I said earlier, let me repeat. Don't go and copy someone's design. They will catch you and you'll be dragged on Twitter for plagiarism. Stay like an artist. So the next one is Wireframe. Now, in design process, once you get your design inspiration, from the website I've shared, Dribble, Behance, Lapa Ninja, Mobbing, and the rest. What you do is you don't get your inspiration and start designing exactly what they do. No. What you're looking for is the layout that they presented their design. What do I mean by layout? I want to design something. I don't know where to start. And I've gone to Dribble and I've seen where they place header, where they place footer, where they place cards and all that. All those placing of elements in your designs are layouts. Okay. Once you've gotten your design layout, the next thing you want to do is to use that inspiration to draft out your wireframe and how it look like. So sometimes it doesn't just end with your layout. You can also extend to colors and fonts, okay, and cards and some really critical elements that they use in the design that you might want to emulate in your own design. So when you're done with your design layout, with your inspiration, the next thing you want to do is to use that inspiration to draw out a wireframe. Of course, they have taught you guys wireframe and all that. So once you draw your wireframe, you also want to put in mind how to design with less detail. What do I mean by designing with less detail? Whatever that is not necessary in that design should not be there. Let me show you an instance. When you're designing, it is often tempting to put everything in your design. It is very, very tempting. Let me show you an inspiration with one of the designs I've done. It is very tempting to want to put everything in that design, jam it with colors and all that. And that is why in one of the reviews we had a few days back, I told you guys something that the way you play with colors helps make your design either very bulky or very mild and few. What do I mean by mild and few? That is designing with less. You don't want your user to be overwhelmed when they come to the design. Whatever is not necessary in your design, do not put it there. Okay? Whatever that is not necessary, I repeat, whatever is not necessary in your design, do not put it there. Okay? It's very, very important that you put that in mind and into consideration when you're designing. Minimalistic design is very, very important and really, really advisable. Anything that is not necessary in your design, take it out. I know why I'm emphasizing that point, because it's often very tempting to want to put so much elements inside one design, and at the end of the day, you end up choking it. So when you're designing, always leave that at the back of your mind. Let this thing load. Let me see an example of design I did. If you're designing a page, let's say you're designing a fintech app, for instance, it's often really tempting to put recently viewed or recent transaction, put your withdraw, deposit, send, receipt in one page. But you have to ask yourself that of all of this, which can I take out and take to a separate page that will not break my design? If recently viewed items are not extremely important, don't put it in the home page. You create a tab for it. What you want to do there is to keep your home page as simple as possible. So when the user comes, they just want to perform an action that is very important and leave. So the essence of designing with less in mind is so you can concentrate on the most important element or factor of your design, which is the most important thing you want them to carry out when they come to your page, either your app or your website. Okay? You don't want your user to come to your page and then they are having difficulty navigating it because you have so many elements and so much going on that page. So it's often advisable. This thing don't want to show, but I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. Give me feedback if you do. What I've just explained, do you guys understand? Please, when you can unmute and say something.
Yes, we understand.
Awesome. I don't know why my network is a little bit shaky. This stuff is not opening. Chioma say,
Hello.
Yusuf Muyina said no. I don't understand. What does no mean? You don't understand or?
Hello. Can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak.
Yeah, sorry. I probably might take you back a little as regards the UI kits.
No, I've left. I asked you to ask a question, then you didn't ask. I can't go back there again. Maybe when we are done with the lesson, I go
Okay.
back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So look at this design. This is a crypto bonding and staking platform. Now, when I mean the less is more, the most important thing I want my user to do in this page is to see this is a dashboard. I can come here and put graph and put pie chart and put all the charts that are available or that can be thought about. But how would I help my user in the long run? What I want them to do is to get the most important information. So rather than put all those things that are usually in dashboard, graph here, pie chart here, charts here, at the end of the day, it makes them overwhelming. I just want them to come, get information, and perform an action. What I did instead is to just list out the information so they can just read it and move on. All right. Put the price of the token, the price of the market cap, the TVL, treasury balance, everything is just laid out there. This is not your regular dashboard because it doesn't look fanciful and all that. But this is important because it helps the user understand. A first-time user does not understand what the crypto dashboard looks like. So you might creating a dashboard with all the graphs and all the charts might look really nice UI wise and enticing, and people will say, wow, this guy is a design wizard. But does it help your user at the long run? If your user, a first-time user comes there and they are as confused as what you can think about, it defeats the purpose of your design. So you want to put into consideration when you're designing, the end point is your user and them understanding what you are designing, not Twitter people telling you that your design is smart. Okay, so if you go out of your way to create something simple and easy out of the conventional way, do it. You don't have to follow a particular pattern. As long as you're not breaking design laws or foundational principles, you can flex and create less just so your user understand what it is. So even on this dashboard, and I went ahead to explain what the user can do on this application when they come here. Simple and short. Go to the next one and they just see exactly what I want them to do. See their treasury balance, the price, how much they can bond token, and then either choose to bond or redeem. Straight to the point. Bond with 3 easy steps. So there's no plenty fancy things going on here. There's just the very basic thing that the users need to do and do it well. Less designing with less detail is very important. Now, when you're done designing, there is what we call design iteration. Design iteration. What we did last week, I think this week should be Monday to Wednesday, I think. What we did was what we call design feedback. And then when I gave you those feedback, some of you went back and did what we call design iteration. You use that feedback to redo your design and made it better. Now, same thing applies to real life where you are done designing. Let's say you are the one that designed this design now. And then it looks nice. Maybe you did your research and everything, and you do designs and you send it to user for feedback. And instead of the user to click this button, they are clicking this button instead. So you had a review session where you want to see how the user will react or how the user will perform certain actions in your designs. And then you send the design to them via, let's say you have a Zoom meeting or you had a one-on-one design review session where you wanted to get feedback from your user. And then you play the live prototype for them. And then you ask them to redeem their crypto. And while I click this redeem button, they are clicking this bond button. That is a feedback to you. What is the feedback? It tells you that either your user does not understand what you want him to do, or that your flow is not as simple as you thought it is. Now, when you get those feedbacks from users or from iterative processes, from review sessions, sorry, the next thing you do is you take back your designs to the drawing board, and then just like you have the design thinking process, you go back to the very beginning and see what was wrong and what is broken and how can you fix what is broken. Now, mind you, the fact that the user doesn't perform a particular action that you want him to perform doesn't mean the whole design is bad. It might be just that user specifically that is bad. You don't want to go and change the whole design because of one user. What you want to do is to go back to the drawing board and see why did that user make that decision. And what if I try it with 5 other users? Do they make the same decision? If they do, it means that feedback is a feedback I should take seriously and iterate. Iteration means carrying out, like, how am I going to call it? Redoing, exactly. Redoing your design. So when I give you a feedback that this thing doesn't work, your flow doesn't work, your user is stuck at a particular point, you go back to the drawing board and redo the design again, redo the flow again, see where that flow is broken, and see how you can fix that broken flow to make your design smooth. When you find a solution and you fix it, now why I'm not showing you examples is because what I've taught you, what I'm telling you now, is what they have taught you already. What do I mean? The same design processes. So I can go back, we have just very limited time. So I can go back to that design processes and begin to teach you the design process, unless they did not teach you. Let me even see if they taught you. Did they teach you guys design process? Feedback, feedback, feedback.
Yes, we are taught design processes.
Okay, can you list out the design process? Let me know. Let me be sure. Anyone can start the process.
Okay, I think the first thing is to empathize with your users. Then when you empathize, you define the problem. Then when you define the problem, you will ideate. That's brainstorming for ideas. Then from the ideation, you I think is it prototype? When you prototype, then I think it's test. I hope I'm correct.
Yeah, you're correct. So the last process in that design process is what I'm talking about, iteration. When you prototype and you test, by the time you test and you get feedback from the user, you go back to iteration. So that last testing, there's another process called iteration. That testing is what bets the design iteration we're talking about. It takes you back, just like a circle. It takes you back to the very beginning. So why did the user test this product and perform a different action that I want him to perform? Go back to your design thinking process, empathize. Go to the drawing board, then create a flow. And by the time you're done, you come back to the wireframe again, the new one you've created. You still take it again for testing. When you get to testing and the user, that problem that the user found the first time, he no longer has that problem. In each of design is okay. So that is why it's very, very important to iterate your design. And I hope, please don't forget, this is a very important aspect of design. Very, 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 very important aspect of design. Iteration. Okay. The next one, we are going to be talking about design systems. So what are design systems? In a layman's point of view, just like you have your regular human being system that is broken down from cell to tissue to organs to system, that is how design system is. I'm trying to not use so much jargon, so I'm trying to break it down to the layman point of view. So in designs, we have icons. Now let's use icons. Let's say icons are cells. Each icon is a cell. We have buttons. Each button is a cell. We have text field or input field. Each input field is a cell. We have tabs. We have navbar. We have colors. And all those other elements we have in design. All of those things are cells. When you bring your pack of icons together, it becomes a tissue. A group of cells make up a tissue. I didn't do biology, so pardon me if I'm wrong. But I know I'm right at least. A pack of buttons. Okay. Your primary button, secondary button, your text button coming together is your tissue. Now, those buttons, icons, colors, typography, cards, all those things, you don't just design them and leave them. You put them into what we call components. Now, all those things come into components. They make up what we call organs. For instance, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show what I mean by the organ. Open. We don't have time. Awesome. So let me show you something. You see how these icons, they all are in components. They all are in components. These are putting all these icons inside a component like this, an icon pack is your organ. Okay, so why do I mean it's an organ? Because it brings me to the next action here, which is publishing the design system. Okay, so putting all of this these guys together, your icons, your colors, your grids, your shadows, your everything, your forms, your text components, putting them together as components and then publishing them as an asset. That asset is your organ. And then those assets, what I mean those assets is these components like this all coming together now make up your whole system. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean because I know somebody's confused. let me show you what I mean. So let me create that's not the best. Let me take these guys and bring them here. Now, watch what I'm going to do. These guys, I am going to remove their components. This is an icon. These are your cells. This is a color. This is my text properties. I want to make this 18. I want to make this 1. Now, all of these guys are cells. By the time I take a group of icons like this, a group of colors, let's say this is green, this is red, this is green. This becomes a tissue, my text as well. By the time I make this a component, I'm trying to use that analogy so you guys can understand what I mean. By the time I make this a component, let me go to this text property and show you what I mean. Where is my typography? Copy this guy. Now, I have a list. I want to create my design system. I have a list of all of this. All of these guys, this guy coming together with this guy, coming together with this text, coming together with my dividers, coming together with my, what have you, buttons, forms, tooltips, navigation system, all of it coming together make up my design system. So design system is important because it helps your organization to define a particular design pattern on all products. The most popular design system is the Google Material Design. Okay, Google Material Design is a design system. Material.io is the Google Material Design. Is the design system for Google explained. Okay, these are your components and your designs and whatnot. So your app bars, your backdrop, and everything. Now, by the time you're able to aggregate all of the icons, all of your colors, all of your snack bars, all of your cards, all of your grids and everything, it becomes your design system. Now, this design system, like I said, it helps your company or your product to be unified. So you don't end up having different color types. You don't end up going to Iconly to go and export icons. Every icon you need is already in your design system. Every color you need, every card you need, everything you need for that product is already in your design system. And also helps with handoff to developers. when you are handing out your design to developers, it makes it easy for them to understand. Why? Because um when your devs wants to build, oftentimes there are some pages the designers might miss, number one, or sometimes they might not understand how to export some certain elements that might be nested. What do they do is they go to the design system, copy that element there, and then use it for coding. And so there are some things you must note when you're doing your design system. Number one is your each element must be properly labeled. Each element, if you come to this design system we have here, each of these elements is properly labeled. Why? Because by the time they want to search a stakeholder or a dev or even another designer wants to search and use it, you that created it, you didn't create it just for yourself, you created it for the whole product. You might leave the product tomorrow, a new designer might come in, a new dev might come in, or someone that does not understand the product might come in. The best way is they go to your design system and they work with what you've already created. So they don't have to come and start thinking about, no. Everything that has to be the way it is. Don't go and label this your circle icon and make it X and leave it like that. Or it's supposed to be X, you go and put it cross. There's nobody that knows this as a cross or as a multiplication sign. They all know it as an X. So how will a regular icon be named? Name it like that and then leave it as your design as part of the design system. Secondly, you want to explain what each of those elements does. It's called documentation and how to use it. For instance, you come to grid. Don't just create your grid and leave it there. This design system I'm using is not proper. If you come to Google Material UI, when you see something like backdrop, they explain how to use your backdrop usage. So Google Material Design is a perfect example of a design system. Explains how to use this. This is a backdrop. How do you use it with example? Example on how to use your backdrop. I never gave you how not to use it. Okay, it comes with same thing with banners. These are your banners. How do you use banners? Same thing with your bottom navigation. How do you use it? So properly document your design system. Come to material.io and then study it properly and understand how it works. It will aid you in understanding the whole concept of design systems. Like I said, number one, properly label your design system, all the elements in your design system. Number two, properly explain how to use those elements. If I come to buttons, how do I use my buttons? From the primary button to my secondary button, the contain button, the outline button, the text button, how do I use it? Okay, this is what Google did. Simple and short. Anatomy of the buttons, how to use it. See, this is how to use, this is not how to use it. Don't use double lines in buttons. Single is enough. This is how to place button hierarchy. Place emphasis. Your primary button places emphasis. Secondary button has medium emphasis, and then the text button has very low emphasis. Simple. This is what they now explain. Placement. Primary more emphasis, and then the tertiary has less emphasis. Why is this important? It's important because you will not be in your company forever. There are some designers that are what they do, they don't design apps. What they design is they call them design system. They are expert in designing systems. Companies hire designers just to build design systems for them. Because it saves the company a whole lot of cost and time when building new products. Imagine for every product Google wants to build, they start building style guide from scratch. It's a whole lot of time, but they just come here and they pick what they want and they are done. Almost every top company I know have design systems. Don't think I have that here. Okay, almost every top company I know has a design system. So but sometimes it's a little bit, like I said, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming to build. It's a little bit overwhelming to build. So what you might want to do is style guide is a better alternative to design system, because you may not be able to build everything at once that you want to do. So style guide is a better alternative. I think I'm looking for, there's a site I have that has almost all design system inside. I can't find it. When I find it, I'll let you know. When I find it, I'll let you know. Okay. So when you're doing your design system, let me go back to this. Now, when you build your elements, sheet. Oh, but that's okay. Okay, this is what the Figma team looks like. What it knows, I'll show you. So you want to create a Figma team. That team contains all the design files that we need for that project inside. What are design files? Like sometimes when I design, I don't design everything on one page. It might be very, very bulky. So what I do is I design, let's say if I'm creating different pages, I might design my home page on page 1. Then I open another file entirely and design explore pages inside that file. Open another file entirely, design, say, create. So you understand what I'm trying to say? This stuff is not opening. My network is bad. So move your file to your teams. So this is what I mean. These are different teams. Okay. These are all my files that are in this team. There are plenty of them. So why? Because this is the team that I'm going to use for my design. So I want to create just create a new team, and you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry, my network went off. I had to switch network. Okay, so like I was saying, let me share my screen. So what you want to do is you want to go to your Figma this thing, your Figma account, create a team. To create a new team. Now, when you create a new team, name your team. Let me name this design pal. So when you create a team, you can create files in this team. Okay, you can create files in this team. So this is your team, design pal. This is your team. Create a new design file. So everything you're going to be building is in that team. When you name your team, oh, this thing should awesome. Oh, my network is. Let's name the design file system. Okay. Let me copy these stuffs and drag them there. So let's say this is my design system. This is my, I want to create a design system. Okay. Now I have created my style components, my style guide, my icons and all that. What I want to do now is to publish them to my Figma components. This is the last one. Publish my components to my design system. It's as simple as take this guy, So it's as simple as all of these guys you've done, these icons you've done, okay, make them components, label them appropriately, make them components. Once you do that, so even though they are combined as variants or what have you, once you have your components ready already, you take your text as well. Of course, I think you guys already know this because the last review we did, most of you had this. You take your text and then, but let me just do that for those of us that will not, maybe don't know how to do it. Click on the style icon, click on the create. You could label this small header, create the style. Same thing with your color. You create your color or what have you. Then these guys that have already been published as components, come to your assets. They are already here. So if you want to use these guys anywhere, just come to whatever, either you search the icon here or you just scroll down, whatever you want to do, drag it and drop it in your design and you're good to go. Okay. Then now these guys, these components you created that have been published to your local components and have been published to your your design system, you want to publish them to the whole of your team library so that any file that you are using to design will have it as part of their components. Come to this thing that looks like a book here. Click on team library. This is your design power design system. So everything that is in this page that is nested already has already been created as a system. Just click on publish. I can't do that. I need to upgrade my team. So once I click on publish, it will automatically publish as this is one of the design styles that I have already. It will automatically publish as a design system library. So any file that you're using, you can use this confidently in those files without having to create them or export them. Let me show you in my work. Please, nobody should screenshot this. This is my work page. Just screenshot or do whatever. No, you can't. We tried to do that now. It didn't work. Yeah, you cannot publish on a free account. You have to upgrade the teams, upgrade your team. So this is my work account. All of these pages I've created. This is our UI kits. This is the one I created for what I want to do. As I publish this, this is it. When I publish this, when I publish this into my team library, it tells me publishing library. Publish successfully. Any file that is in that library that I want to use, it can be used in this file. I can find it here. Any file in that team library that I create and I want to use any part of my design system component, I can conveniently do that without issues. This stuff is still loading. Awesome. So these are my UI kits. It's taking so much time now. Awesome. So you see that NFT UI kit I published, it has appeared here. It appeared here also. I have to restart this one. I have to restart that one. It has appeared here also. So anything I want to do, I just come here. Oh, okay, awesome. See, look at all of them here. All of them are here. So I can use these files conveniently. Look at, just drag and drop. But remember, this NFT marketplace UI kit is not in this home page. It is on its own as its own page. But because I built it and I published it to my team library, any file that is in that team library, I can access it. Any file in that team library, I can access it. And so it makes your work 10 times faster. Rather than you going overboard to create this on every singular page, create it on your design system page, publish it to your team library, and you can use it on any file in that team. Ask your question, guys, before we go to the next topic. Any question? No, we cannot publish on a free account. Figma wants to earn your money. So you have to you have to pay for it. Okay, last but not the least, handing over your designs. Guys, this is very, very important. Like I said, please do not take screenshot of anything I'm showing you. This is my company file. and if this file is found elsewhere, I can be sued for it. I'm just doing, let me not go closer so that people will not go and see, not go and screenshot my company work. So you see how this is now. You notice that every file here has a label here, and also have a heading. And then if you look at the designs, you see multiple screens. Now, the reason why I did this is so that it will be easier for my developers to understand my design and code it. Imagine if I just give them this one page only. Sorry, I cannot zoom in for my own security and safety. Imagine if I give them this one page only. Or let me use this guy as an instance. Now, I can just literally give a dev this page and say, go and code. But the dev might not understand what this page is. And so I need to create an experience where everything that is clicked on this page must have a response. So when you click on Connect Wallet, it opens up this page. So when you click on Connect Wallet, it opens up this page. When you click on any of the wallet that is connected here, it takes you to this page and tells you it is connected. Same thing with here. When you click on anything, it tells you, so that's what is in that previous page. Anything you click on gives you another page as a feedback. What happens is the devs do not have to think of how that experience will look like. We've already designed it for them. And then I label it appropriately. So if you look at this page, they are all labeled appropriately. And then the dev knows that this flow is for this. This flow is for staking. This flow is for calculate. This flow is for bonding. And so they just come. Once, imagine they code this page. Come here, code this page. Come here, code this page. My app automatically works. The dev don't have to think of what is the next thing that comes after this. You understand? So even for prototyping, it helps for your prototyping. When you're designing for prototyping, make sure every page you design is responsive. When I mean responsive, I don't mean scaling it down to screen sizes. I mean every button clicks here gives you a response. So when you're presenting to your devs or your stakeholders, as you're telling them to click here to give you here, click here to give you here, it's actually performing an action. And it makes it easy for your devs to understand. So when you're handing over, you're showing them the prototype and how every page works. Please do not hand over static designs to devs. You make their work more difficult. Prototype every page in your design and hand over a fully prototype. Every click on your design must perform an action. And so when you hand over the design file to them, also label your design. See what I did here. Bond LP screen. It is labeled properly. The devs know what this is for. And so even if they want to call my attention to any screen, they know what to call my attention to. Don't just leave your file like frame 1044, frame 1045. That is wrong. See how all my frames are being labeled appropriately. So anyone they are looking for already has what they want it to do. Does that make sense? So, number one, you want to document your design. So when you hand over to them, you hand over your designs to them, you hand over your design system to them as well. And if the design has any documentation, any string work, hand over documentation to them as well. If it doesn't, oftentimes this factor when you're that every screen is actionable. And so it becomes easy for your devs to understand what it's just as if you document it, everything that makes sense. That's like the most simplest way you can hand over to a dev, and then they won't come over asking you, what does this do? What does that do? So before you hand over, endeavor you take them through your design process, endeavor you make sure you do a presentation with your prototype, and let them ask all the questions they have to ask before you send the prototype link and the Figma file link to them. Okay, so it makes the work easy, and everybody is happy. Any question? Ask question on anything we've discussed so far. Hey guys, do you have any question? Okay, so I think that should be all for today.
Hello, sorry. Good evening. I did send you a questions on the text, the chat section.
What's the question?
I said, for this work you're putting on, the one that has the blue and white interface, I'm like, the content, the one you're using for the statistics and all that, they're sent to you like to fill it into your UI. Like, it's not something you just thought on or like content trailer and whatnot.
So you don't know think of content. Oftentimes, we have UX writers. If you work with a big team, they have UX writers that fill you in on content. If you work with a small team, oftentimes you are the content creator yourself. So, like Nigerian companies are fond of that. So you have to learn how to write content as well. Because you might be writing your content yourself 90% of the time. If you're for a small company, you might write your content yourself. So in part of your UX, your research and all that also involves content for your sites and your designs as well. All right, guys. If there's no more question, thank you for your time. Okay, I'm going to send the link to the group. Let me send it to the general group. Okay, I can't send this to. Let me send it to announcements. You can see it there. All right, guys, take care of yourself and you have a nice evening.